Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 3 on the Series X, and this is my insane difficulty guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Act 4-3. It is entitled Hang 'em High. So we're just doing some weapon switching with teammates that are having a hard time standing still for us. I always hate that. Just stand still so I can switch my weapon with you. So I can get rid of my trash and give you my trash. So ostensibly, this chapter doesn't appear to be too difficult, but when you get into the meat of it, it can be quite challenging and quite demanding of you, especially with the formers, because the formers can maneuver in ways that, if you're not aware of the environment, they can circumnavigate open spaces and come directly at you. There's also one bitch move that they pull on you up here, so I'll let you know in advance of what that is. But when you come up here, you're going to get a checkpoint. There's going to be some enemies coming out of that empty pool that we were just shooting at. What I would recommend is to switch out, if you have frag grenades, change the frag grenades for the incendiaries, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment about why they're helpful. Don't worry about using your two incendiaries, because right after you do this next part, which is a little bullshitty, you're going to get two more incendiaries. There's also, up and to the right, there's one more former plus a retro lancer if you want that. But there's plenty of retro lancers all around. So I'm going to equip this. Don't throw it before you get down there. That'll kill you. So that was just my mistake. But you need to throw the flame under the stairs where there's a gap, and there will be... Oh, it looks like I only threw just one in hindsight. It killed them both, though. Because if you jump down here, you're going to have formers coming at you from up the stairs and from under the stairs. And it's a really difficult scenario to survive. So yeah, it looks like just jump down, just manually throw one flame near the gap under the stairs. That's going to kill both of those formers that come out from under there. And then you're free to not focus on them and focus on the ones that are coming up the stairs. I did that a few times. I never had any problems with it. But now as we push forward, there's going to be just a bunch more formers, and you always need to be finding fallback points for yourself, where the formers can only get at you one way. But sometimes when you're doing this, you don't realize that there are gaps that these enemies have no problems pathfinding through to get over to you. So the weapon of choice is definitely the Lancer. Don't worry about using too much of the Lancer, because there's plenty of refills for it. But I use it so much on this that I do kind of get worried about running out of the Lancer. So sometimes you might see me switch to the Hammer Burst. But once everybody's cleared, you're going to go up these stairs over here, and you're going to get another checkpoint. Now this is a pretty rough checkpoint too, because on the previous part, you just had, you didn't have many openings for them to slip through, but on this part up here, there's plenty of openings for them to slip through. And if you're not versed with the geography of where everything is, you can find yourself getting overrun. I'm not very versed with it, and I almost got killed, so it can just show you. I don't know if there's a hierarchy of them having more hit points than the others. I'm just not sure. But this is a really good fallback point. If you ever get trapped and overrun, just remember there's a gap over there to the left, and then there's going to be a whole bunch of them that come over here. So fall back. And in falling back, your teammates are going to kill some of them for you. So it's not that bad. There's a Mulcher in this room, and don't forget to pick up the Lancer. I think there's a Retro Lancer in here too. But it's your choice. If you want the Retro Lancer, that's fine. But the Mulcher would be probably a bad idea. And just make steady progress up here, because you're going to see some enemies running down the stairs over there. It's tempting to throw a flame over there, but I've not had much success killing those guys with flames, because there's too much machinery in the way. So I'm going to do the nice fallback plan over here. And my teammates did a really good job killing most of these guys for me. But there's another bitch move that this game does where you're running upstairs and then a whole bunch of them run down at you. And I've tried to plant flame grenades on the ground in conjunction with throwing the flames well in advance of when I know they're coming down, because I've died to this a number of times. But you just need to make sure that when you push up, no more of them spawn. As happens over here. We got a couple more spawning at the end of the room. If there's just one of them, you can chainsaw, but just make sure they're far enough away from you so you can rev the chainsaw like this, because they'll stagger you to kingdom come. But it's this part over here. All your teammates have run up, and now it's just you. So I'm going to probably put one on the floor. Do I? No. I just decided to throw two. So maybe the flames go underneath those stairs and just screw you. I'm not sure what goes on over there, but see how they're really putting me in a bind over here, because they're going multiple ways, and I didn't think so many of them were chasing me. Otherwise, I would have hightailed it back to this this nice spot over here. But that's just classic with that enemy. It's a very difficult enemy when they're in groups like that and they're running at you, and you're trying to fend them off, and getting gun jams and getting completely overwhelmed by them. It's a hard, like I said, on the surface, it doesn't look that bad, but when you do it, the reason I'm revving my chainsaw here is I heard somebody else. I heard another former around somewhere, but maybe he was dead. Maybe he fell into the stairs. Maybe he spawned out of the game, but his voice didn't. I'm not sure. But when you come down here, this is the beginning of the area. Now we can get back on the lift, and since the chain is detached, we can actually start moving. And now on this part over here, I have died once out of like 3 or 4 times on this. My thinking on this is that since there's barges that are going to be on either side of you, whichever barge is higher than the other one and can conceivably hit you, that's the one that you want to stick closest to so it can't hit you. So for instance, if this barge was really high, we would want to stay right where we are now and just alternate back and forth. But in alternating back and forth, you can get tagged by a torque bow. I just did, and it was humiliating. It was demoralizing. And it's not uncommon here to bump into your teammates while you're trying to get into cover and then get tagged by a grenade too. So you really can't just stay in one spot and expect to live. You might get lucky and that could happen, but they really want you to go back and forth as these airships go up and down and have a line of sight on you. But the good thing is it doesn't last very long. And that's one of the saving grace. Did I just bump into one of my teammates? Yeah, I did. And then this next part, you're going to get a checkpoint. There's a few more checkpoints coming up, but it's a pretty mad push to the end. And there's going to be advantages for the enemies on every turn because you're going blind into rooms all the time. Now, I don't think I've ever had any Therons come out here. It's possible that they could, but I think this is a pretty safe space out here. So as you come in here, you're gonna be seeing these guys with retro lancers, shotguns, torque bows. You just got to be very careful of the torque bows. And if you don't feel safe on one side, go to the other. If people are in your way and such, go to the other side. You want to save the snub for the shriekers. It's a really good quick weapon to dispatch them with. The Lancer's probably a little bit better, but if you are running low on Lancer ammunition, switch to the shriekers. And the nice thing is, all of this is pretty scripted. Whenever the shriekers come out, they come out all the time at the same place. I just really love the Hamburst. I really like it. Fault me for liking a gimmick, but I really do like the iron sights. I think I think it's a great addition to this weapon. Here we got some shriekers over here. You need to keep your distance about the shriekers because if they fall, they'll fall right on you and kill you. Okay. And I think every other room you do get a checkpoint. So I'm gonna pick up a torque. And if you're feeling gallant, you know, pick up the torque. I really wasn't feeling gallant myself. I just wanted to have some variety in my gameplay. Pick up the torque because I've just heretofore been using the hammer burst, and since we haven't used the torque too much, I wanted to use the torque, and I did pick it up. So you need to carefully, not like that, but see what I was trying to do. I was trying to go on the piece of cover, and it made me jump instead. Don't destroy this piece of destructible cover, although I am going to when I chainsaw an enemy in just a few moments, and all blood and chaos is going to ensue. But even though it's destructible, it can help you. And prepare for some shriekers over here. I think there are a couple of shriekers. And yeah, here we go. Here's a shrieker. You can fall back too. Fall back as much as you want to, because your teammates will just end up crawling to you. And you can give them each a revive, or at least give one of them a revive so that you can have everybody get picked up. But this is absolute crazy. All of my teammates are downed. One of the Therons is down. Pretty soon this piece of cover is going to get disintegrated. But I remember I cut it up because I was trying to get to a Theron, this guy right here. So I switched to my Lancer. The only thing I could think of was just destroy the box and then destroy him. And I knew I would probably die, but I didn't, so I got lucky. And now I've really got to get back to cover because there's a shrieker over there, but there's a nice couch I can just hide behind. So keep looting. There's a nice room over here that's going to give you some more Lancer ammunition. And it really is difficult going into all these rooms, pretty much blind. But the Therons, they're not that aggressive with their torque bows. You know, they have a long wind-up time. There's that yellow light that gives you ample notice that it's going to fire. And it's basically just trying to find the enemies because there's a lot of things that they can hide behind. So one of the things that you can do is keep clicking in the left stick to try to spot any enemies that you can't find, and that's a great way, not necessarily to focus fire on that enemy, just to find the fucking enemy. But anyway, you need to go down here, and I think there's a pair of ladders you need to go up. So, oh no, I'm sorry, I could have got you killed right there. This guy was hiding behind the wall. Jesus. But I know there's ladders coming up. Okay, to get to the ladder, there's that one enemy. Maybe he dropped down there, I have no idea. But you should get a checkpoint up here. I'm probably going to switch to my snub because I know that there are some streakers coming up. Some of the fire can kill you, some of it can't. So just avoid all of it at all costs. I end up switching to the Lancer for that Shrieker. It is probably better to use the Lancer on those Shriekers. But, you know, if you're trying to conserve ammunition, go for it. Now, I am going to do an odd thing over here, and this is, I'm going to switch out my torque bow for a long shot. Actually, a pair of long shots, so I can get a little bit more ammunition. This might seem like a strange thing, but at the beginning of the next chapter, there is a guy in a turret in a like a, I'm not sure what it is. It's like a toll booth or something that he's pretty hard to hit, but if you don't come into the next chapter with a long shot, one of your teammates does have a long shot, but since they're running around so much, it's hard to get the long shot off of them. So it's best to just have a long shot on you so you can prepare to do that. And you don't have to, by all means. You can hit him with a long shot. I'm sorry, you can hit him with a torque. You can hit him with any number of things. But I just like the comfortability factor of knowing that I have a long shot that when I start the level, I don't have to chase down some fucking teammate that just won't stand still. You know, it's really aggravating. But here's the final push up here. Someone's gonna throw a flame. There's gonna be some more shriekers. And this is just really intense, and it's such a good game. These people really knew how to make games back then. I'm just astounded at the level of creativity and ingenuity and everything falling into place like this. Another shrieker up there, he's pretty hard to hit. I think he died of his own accord or something. Somebody else may have shot him. But yeah, he's problematic because he's behind a bunch of wood. And then I'm not sure if you get another checkpoint up here, but you're almost there. No, not quite there. We've just got, I think, two more Therons, and then there's not going to be a dissolve at the end. It's just going to cut right out into a cutscene. You might have noticed that I trim out all of the dissolves that occur in these games. It's just my preference of editing. That's not an enemy right there because it won't let me tag it, and that should be that should be it. Once you get the tag over the rescue Disney insignia there, that'll be it. But like I said, ostensibly it's not that difficult, but when you go through the motions and try to do that, it can be pretty challenging.